In the tavern are many wines. The wine of delight in color and form and taste, the wine of the intellect's agility, the fine port of stories, and the cabernet of soul singing. Being human means entering this place where entrancing varieties of desire are served. The grape skin of ego breaks, and a pouring begins. Fermentation is one of the oldest symbols for human transformation. When grapes combine their juice and are closed up together for a time in a dark place, the results are spectacular. This is what lets two drunks meet so that they don't know who is who. Pronouns no longer apply in the tavern's mud world of excited confusion and half-articulated wantings. But after some time in the tavern, a point comes, a memory of elsewhere, a longing for the source, and the drunks must set off from the tavern and begin the return. We are all returning. The tavern is a kind of glorious hell that human beings enjoy and suffer and then push off from in their search for truth. The tavern is a dangerous region where sometimes disguises are necessary, but never hide your heart, Rumi urges. Keep open there. A breaking apart, a crying out into the street begins in the tavern, and the human soul turns to find its way home. It's 4 a.m. Nasruddin leaves the tavern and walks the town aimlessly. A policeman stops him. "Why are you out wandering the streets in the middle of the night?" "Sir," replies Nasruddin, "if I knew the answer to that question, I would have been home hours ago."
גם בסקוטלנד, גם בפקיסטן. יש דיבור חזק על אינטגרציה, יש מצב שזה יהיה סבבה. באסכולה של הוותיקן לא דוגלים בהנהגת הנסתה, יש דיבור חזק על מה עישנת. תגרדי לי את הגב, בואי ננצח את השיטה, יש מקום על כדור הארץ לכולם. תגרדי לי את הגב, בבקשה. בואי ננצח את השיטה, יש מקום על כדור הארץ לכולם.
יש לך וויסקי בחלב, יש לך בית בשכונת התקווה, את חולמת רק על מה שהקודם חלם. תגרדי לי את הגב, בואי ננצח את השיטה, יש מקום על כדור הארץ לכולם. תגרדי לי את הגב, בבקשה. בואי ננצח את השיטה, יש מקום על כדור הארץ לכולם. כולם מטפסים על אותו הסולם,
יש מקום על כדור הארץ לכולם.
כולם מטפסים על אותו הסולם,
יש מקום על כדור הארץ לכולם.
כולם מטפסים על אותו הסולם, יש מקום על כדור הארץ לכולם.
יש מקום, יש מקום, יש מקום,
יש מקום.
Welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole on KWNK 97.7 LP-FM Reno. And we are well into it already. We started that off with a song called Agir Lama by Erkan Ogur. Both of those G's in the song title and the artist have some kind of mark over them that I've never seen before, so I don't know what to do with that. After that was Breathe by Two Pills After Meal. But that's written in Thai. If you want to look that up on Spotify, you can't type Breathe. And after that was
כדור הארץ,
by
הנוקמים.
Sorry, making this show can be very challenging. But I'm fortunate to be able to confront these challenges, and that's because this station is listener supported. So we can, us DJs can have artistic freedom here. If you like it that way, you should head over to kwnk.org/donate and chip in. Yeah, and you can keep this community art machine rolling. I'd say, art's more important than ever right about now. Anyways, let's find out what we're going to queue up on. I have a few talks, a couple short talks in today's episode. Both of those are from Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Shunryu Suzuki. I'm also going to play a lot of poetry from this old Sufi mystic named Rumi. Keep in mind when listening to his poetry that, what he's speaking from and as is the unknown, the knower of what's known to him. There's a deep level to his poetry, so please look deeply. And he's who I started the show with. So if you hear other poetry, it'll be from Ryōkan, from the golden age of Zen poetry. So I won't do too much talking at you today, except for some song titles. This is, I don't know, this is a special episode to me. I think it'll just speak for itself. So, in the next block of music, we're going to have a song called Heavy Metal by Cindy Lee. Then 18th Parallel by Vesuvio Solo. Then Nature Boy by Eden Abes. It's a familiar tune. A bunch of people have covered it. He was kind of like a hippie before there were hippies, He used to live under the L on the Hollywood sign on the side of the mountain. Like when he wrote this song for Nat King Cole. Can you imagine? But, they just, saw him on the street and just figured he was some kind of guru and I guess approached him, hey, write us a song. And, well, he did. It's a good one. Well, I'm sure it didn't go down exactly like that, but he certainly is some kind of guru. And after that, we'll have Moon Song by Adrian von Ziegler. All right, let's blast off.
This poetry. I never know what I'm going to say. I don't plan it. When I'm outside the saying of it, I get very quiet and rarely speak at all. We have a huge barrel of wine, but no cups. That's fine with us. Every morning we glow, and in the evening we glow again. They say there's no future for us. They're right, which is fine with us.
Rags upon rags, tattered is my life. I pluck my food on a country path. My hut is buried in a tangle of weeds. Looking at the moon, I hum all night. Deluded by blossoms, I forget to return. Since leaving the monastery, what a fool I have become. Water does not go, moon does not come, and yet how pure its reflection on the waves.
There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, but very wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way. And though we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
There is a community of the spirit. Join it and feel the delight of walking in the noisy street and being the noise. Drink all your passion and be a disgrace. Close both eyes to see with the other eye. Open your hands if you want to be held. Sit down in this circle. Quit acting like a wolf and feel the shepherd's love filling you. At night, your beloved wanders. Don't accept consolations. Close your mouth against food. Taste the lover's mouth in yours. You moan, she left me, he left me. 20 more will come. Be empty of worrying. Think of who created thought. Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? Move outside the tangle of fear thinking. Live in silence. Flow down and down in always widening rings of being.
See and realize that this world is not permanent. Neither late nor early flowers will remain. Since I left the household, throwing myself into the world as it is, I have erased all date. Yesterday I lived on a green mountain. Today I play in town. More than 100 pieces patch my robe. A single bowl knows no years. I sing into the clear night. Laying out a straw mat, I sleep under the moon. Who says I don't count? This body of mine is just this.
Transiency. That everything changes is the basic truth for each existence. No one can deny this truth, and all teaching of Buddhism is condensed within it. This is the teaching for all of us. Wherever we go, this teaching is true. This teaching is also understood as the teaching of selflessness. Because each existence is in constant change, there is no abiding self. In fact, the self-nature of each existence is nothing but change itself, the self-nature of all existence. There is no special, separate self-nature for each existence. This is also called the teaching of Nirvana. When we realize the everlasting truth of everything changes and find our composure in it, we find ourselves in Nirvana. Without accepting the fact that everything changes, we cannot find perfect composure. But unfortunately, although it is true, it is difficult for us to accept it. Because we cannot accept the truth of transiency, we suffer. So the cause of suffering is our non-acceptance of this truth. The teaching of the cause of suffering and the teaching that everything changes are thus two sides of one coin. But subjectively, transiency is the cause of our suffering. Objectively, this teaching is simply the basic truth that everything changes. Dogen Zenji said, "Teaching which does not sound as if it is forcing something on you is not true teaching. The teaching itself is true, and in itself does not force anything upon us. But because of our human tendency, we receive the teaching as if something was being forced on us. But whether we feel good or bad about it, this truth exists. If nothing exists, this truth does not exist. Buddhism exists because of each particular existence. We should find perfect existence through imperfect existence. We should find perfection in imperfection. For us, complete perfection is not different from imperfection. The eternal exists because of non-eternal existence. In Buddhism, it is a heretical view to expect something outside this world. We do not seek for something besides ourselves. We should find the truth in this world through our difficulties, through our suffering. This is the basic teaching of Buddhism. Pleasure is not different from difficulty. Good is not different from bad. Bad is good, good is bad. They are two sides of one coin. So enlightenment should be in practice. That is the right understanding of practice and the right understanding of our life. So to find pleasure in suffering is the only way to accept the truth of transiency. Without realizing how to accept this truth, you cannot live in this world. Even though you try to escape from it, your effort will be in vain. If you think that there is some other way to accept the eternal truth that everything changes, that is your delusion. This is the basic teaching of how to live in this world. Whatever you may feel about it, you have to accept it. You have to make this kind of effort. So, until we become strong enough to accept difficulty as pleasure, we have to continue this effort. Sometimes it will be difficult, and sometimes it will not be so difficult. If you are suffering, you will have some pleasure in the teaching that everything changes. When you are in trouble, it is quite easy to accept the teaching. So why not accept it at other times? It is the same thing. Sometimes you may laugh at yourself, discovering how selfish you are. But no matter how you feel about this teaching, it is very important for you to change your way of thinking and accept the truth of transiency.
Take the leading one.
was Clusters by Carla Del Forno. Before that, You Were Bigger Than Life by Shook. Coming up next, we have The Drug Song by Dave Bixby. And then we have Mafat Shile by Al Mesharin. Then Limber Curing by Yanti Bursadara. Once again, I'm your host, Danimal, and this is Down the Rabbit Hole of KWNK Reno.
Sometimes I forget completely what companionship is. Unconscious and insane, I spill sad energy everywhere. My story gets told in various ways: a romance, a dirty joke, a war, a vacancy. Divide up my forgetfulness to any number. It will go around. These dark suggestions that I follow, are they part of some plan? Friends, be careful. Don't come near me, out of curiosity or sympathy.
ولا الزحام bening di lembur puri pani isan pikir jeung paninengan tempat endah nelok parahiangan tante kurang subur usanam pangan
That was I Want to Be Your Lover by Panron. Prince covered that song. Just joking. Coming up next is
海韵
by,
杨业
and I'm going to have to lean on Google Robot pretty hard right here. And after that,
ใต้ចិត្តដែលស្រឡាញ់
by.
រស់សេរីសុធា
Thanks again, buddy. You're a lifesaver, Mr. Robot. This is Down the Rabbit Hole, KWNK Reno. I'm Danimal.
1,000 peaks merge with frozen clouds. 10,000 paths have no human trace. Day by day, just facing the wall, at times I hear snow drift over the window.
Are you jealous of the ocean's generosity? Why would you refuse to give this joy to anyone? Fish don't hold the sacred liquid in cups. They swim the huge fluid freedom.
We're now hearing, and will continue to hear, The Girl Who Was Frightened of Ashtrays by Charlie Magira. Then we'll hear Kiyomizu Dera by Matthew Halsall and the Gondwana Orchestra. Then Ajeg Lastari by C New Project. The speaking will be Suzuki Hiroshi's Dharma talk on emptiness, narrated once again by the wonderful Peter Coyote. I'm your host, Dan. This is Down the Rabbit Hole on 97.7 KWNK Reno.
emptiness. If you want to understand Buddhism, it is necessary for you to forget all about your preconceived ideas. To begin with, you must give up the idea of substantiality or existence. The usual view of life is firmly rooted in the idea of existence. For most people, everything exists. They think whatever they see and whatever they hear exists. Of course, the bird we see and hear exists. It exists. But what I mean by that may not be exactly what you mean. The Buddhist understanding of life includes both existence and non-existence. The bird both exists and does not exist at the same time. We say that a view of life based on existence alone is heretical. If you take things too seriously, as if they existed substantially or permanently, you are called a heretic. Most people may be heretics. We say true existence comes from emptiness and goes back again into emptiness. What appears from emptiness is true existence. We have to go through the gate of emptiness. This idea of existence is very difficult to explain. Many people these days have begun to feel, at least intellectually, the emptiness of the modern world, or the self-contradiction of their culture. In the past, for instance, the Japanese people had a firm confidence in the permanent existence of their culture and their traditional way of life. But since they lost the war, they have become very skeptical. Some people think this skeptical attitude is awful, but actually it is better than the old attitude. As long as we have some definite idea about or some hope in the future, we cannot really be serious with the moment that exists right now. You may say, I can do it tomorrow or next year, believing that something that exists today will exist tomorrow. Even though you're not trying so hard, you expect that some promising thing will come as long as you follow a certain way. But there is no certain way that exists permanently. There is no way set up for us. Moment after moment, we have to find our own way. Some idea of perfection, or some perfect way which is set up by someone else, is not the true way for us. Each one of us must make his own true way, and when we do, that way will express the universal way. This is the mystery. understand one thing through and through, you understand everything. When you try to understand everything, you will not understand anything. The best way is to understand yourself, and then you will understand everything. So when you try hard to make your own way, you will help others and you will be helped by others. Before you make your own way, you cannot help anyone, and no one can help you. To be independent in this true sense, we have to forget everything which we have in our mind and discover something quite new and different moment after moment. This is how we live in this world. So we say true understanding will come out of emptiness. When you study Buddhism, you should have a general house cleaning of your mind. You must take everything out of your room and clean it thoroughly. If it is necessary, you may bring everything back in again. You may want many things, so one by one you can bring them back. But if they're not necessary, there's no need to keep them. We see the flying bird. Sometimes we see the trace of it. Actually, we cannot see the trace of a flying bird, but sometimes we feel as if we could. This is also good. If it is necessary, you should bring back in the things you took from your room. But before you put something in your room, it is necessary for you to take out something. If you do not, your room will become crowded with old, useless junk. We say, step by step, I stop the sound of the murmuring brook. When you walk along the brook, you'll hear the water running. The sound is continuous, but you must be able to stop it if you want to stop it. This is freedom. This is renunciation. One after another, you will have various thoughts in your mind. But if you want to stop your thinking, you can. So when you are able to stop the sound of the murmuring brook, you will appreciate the feeling of your work. But as long as you have some fixed idea or are caught by some habitual way of doing things, you cannot appreciate things in their true sense. If you seek for freedom, you cannot find it. Absolute freedom itself is necessary before you can acquire absolute freedom. That is our practice. Our way is not always to go in one direction. Sometimes we go east, sometimes we go west. To go 1 mile to the west means to go back 1 mile to the east. Usually, if you go 1 mile to the east, it is the opposite of going 1 mile to the west. But if it is possible to go 1 mile to the east, that means it is possible to go 1 mile to the west. This is freedom. Without this freedom, you cannot be concentrated on what you do. You may think you are concentrated on something, but before you obtain this freedom, you'll have some uneasiness in what you are doing. Because you are bound by some idea of going east or west, your activity is in dichotomy or duality. As long as you are caught by duality, you cannot attain absolute freedom, and you cannot concentrate. Concentration is not to try hard to watch something. In Zazen, if you try to look at one spot, you'll be tired in about 5 minutes. This is not concentration. Concentration means freedom. So your effort should be directed at nothing. You should be concentrated on nothing. In Zazen practice, we say your mind should be concentrated on your breathing. But the way to keep your mind on your breathing is to forget all about yourself and just to sit and feel your breathing. If you are concentrated on your breathing, you will forget yourself. And if you forget yourself, you will be concentrated on your breathing. I do not know which is first. So actually, there is no need to try too hard to be concentrated on your breathing. Just do as much as you can. If you continue this practice, eventually you will experience the true existence which comes from emptiness.
Customs become diluted year after year. Both the noble and the common decline. The human mind grows fragile with time. The ancestral way becomes fainter day by day. Teachers can't see past the name of their school. Students enable their teachers' narrow-mindedness. They are glued to each other, unwilling to change. If the purpose of the Dharma were to establish schools, sages would have done so long ago. Now that people have declared their schools, whom on earth should I join?
Megnestam ci szarżawak. Czteris, amocnacan, czteris, amocnacan, czteris, amocnacan.
That was Every Day I Don't by Anno Domino. Before that was She Said by Maria. Coming up next, Nai by Yura Yura Teikoku. Then, Ginza no Koi no Monogatari by Yujiro Ishihara. This has been Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Animal, KWNK, Reno, 97.7 LPFM.
I come with excuses. You plug your ears. So I accept every difficulty. If you would say I don't exist, I would be grateful. When this longing makes me disreputable, then I have a little self-respect. This vine begins to become wine, as you say. Pressure is necessary for you to burst open under my foot. The wine we really drink is our own blood. Our bodies ferment in these barrels. We give everything for a glass of this. We give our minds for a sip.
out breath and in breath. Know that they are proof that the world is inexhaustible.